Alright, what's going on everyone on YouTube? Nesruler, welcome to French Week here on Body Bags. And as always, I am Jeremy, aka Nesruler22, and I will be filling in for Laura this week, where we shall be talking about some French horror films, which is probably my favorite country of horror in the world. They definitely know what they're doing, and they've always known what they're doing. Even in non-horror, with the French New Wave and things like that, the French know their cinema. And if it wasn't for the French, there wouldn't be any cinema. Well, there probably would be cinema, but they were really the ones that made it what it is and made it popular. So, the film I'm going to be talking about today is from a year that is mostly remembered because of films like Psycho and Peeping Tom, which of course is 1960. Now, 1960, we saw a pretty radical change in the horror genre as a whole, mainly because of Psycho. But, of course, as time gone on, people have come to appreciate Peeping Tom for what it is, and we now see it being taught at film school around the world. Like, I learned about it twice already, and I'm 3 years in, so it's a pretty influential film, Peeping Tom, and there's a lot of interesting things going on in that film. So 1960, huge change for the horror genre that was going on, but people leave out a film that was made in France in 1960 that is a masterpiece, and that is the film titled Eyes Without a Face. Now, this film was put out by Criterion, so you could get it anywhere. I don't have a copy. I actually watched it in one of my classes, but I really, really want to get a copy of the film now because it's a really, really, really fantastic and beautiful looking film that, like I said, never really gets talked about because it gets overshadowed by Peeping Tom and Psycho. So the film basically follows this doctor whose daughter got in an automobile accident and her face got disformed. So he is a like I said, a doctor. So he has this other woman that he also saved. I think she got her neck severed somehow, and he was able to get her a new neck and saved her. So she's in charge of capturing these women and having this doctor perform his experiments on them to try to remove their face and transplant it onto his daughter. And it's just like the downward spiral of this doctor who starts out as this pretty normal guy, and then as the film goes on, he becomes darker and darker and darker. And the face that the main daughter wears, it's French. It's spelled like Christine, but it's not pronounced Christine. I know that. But she wears this awesome mask, and it's really, really, it's very simple. It's just like this blank expression mask. It's very iconic these days. If you see a picture of it, Google it. You'll see it. Influence in a lot of films. So. So he kidnaps all these girls, and he's trying to, like I said, transplant her face. And there's this one scene where he's taking this girl's face off, and it's this, for 1960, we would never have seen anything like that here in the States, that's for sure. Even though Psycho, a big stepping point and a big middle finger to the rating boards at the time, of course, because the MPA wasn't around, the rating board was still in place at this point. So, all the way up to 1968 with films like The Graduate and Bonnie and Clyde, we start to see, the old rating system hit the road, and these, of course, the MPA put into place. So, while Psycho really gave the middle finger to the rating system, this film would have never been able to get made here in the States. For one thing, it would have never been, it would have never gained any money at the box office, that's for sure, even though art house films were starting to make a little bit of a climb in the early 1960s. But it was mainly because of this scene where the doctor is transplanting this girl's face, and you see him, cutting into her flesh, in pretty close detail, like I said, for 1960. Goes all the way around, and he takes his time. It's very slow. It's not like, well, he does it really fast. He really takes his time, and it's really fascinating, and it's shot in such a brilliant way. It's lit fantastic. So he's cutting her face, and you see him like lift her face off and her skin underneath. It's just fucking fantastic for 1960. Like I said, it's not there to be shown in the U.S. So when it eventually did get exported here to the States, I think it was cut to shit. I don't really remember. I know it was cut, but I don't know to what extent. I would assume the face scene was cut and things like that. But the Criterion, you could see the original version like you should. And the ending is fantastic as well. It has one of my favorite moments in the entire film, and maybe any film in the 60s, and maybe even the 70s, which was okay. It's just fantastic, the ending. I love the film. It's definitely in my top 10 greatest films ever. Not my greatest and favorite, but I have my favorite films that I love, even though they're not artistically fantastic or things like that. But then I have the best films. It's on that list. I have Phantom's Carriage, and now this film, and a whole bunch of other films that I seriously think are important if you're going to study film history and things like that. So, like I said, the story doesn't sound anything fantastic, but the way that it's shot and the effects and things like that, it's just really fantastic. Like I said, French, of course, I've always been pushing the boundaries. Going on right now with the new French extremity movement that's been going on since. There's no exact date to when the French extremity movement started, but it was the late 90s. It's still going on today. It's not as good as it was with Inside Mars, High Tension, them, and Frontiers, but it's still French is some of the best horror films in the world. Like I said, dating back to the beginning of the creation of film. So if you guys get a chance, please give Eyes Without a Face a watch. I highly recommend it. It gives me my highest rating, 10 out of 10. Check it out. It's fucking fantastic. So thanks again, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Eyes Without a Face. It is truly fantastic. And as always, you can follow me on my channel at youtube.com/Nesruler22. And I shall talk to you guys over on my channel very soon. See you guys.